Finland, Finland, Finland. Country where social distancing was cool before COVID made it mainstream. Country known for having invented the hardest material known to man. And a country that's known to pick up and carry its women unlike any other country. I'm not kidding. We have actual wife-carrying competitions here where the main prize is your wife's weight in beer. So when Finnish men ask women about their weight, it's not because we're rude. It's because we're counting in our heads how long of a drinking bender we could go on if we won. Also, I'd like to mention here that Finland is also known as the land of thousand lakes. What's kind of funny about it, in a fucked up way, is that our best known serial killer is also known as serial drowner. Now since it's December 6th, which is Finnish Independence Day, I figured what would be better day to release my top 7 favorite Finnish games lists than today. This one should be a pretty interesting list, cause I bet you guys don't know half this list. Well, unless you're Finnish, then you might know, but if you're not, there's gonna be some new ones. I guarantee. No, not you. You're too offensive. I might make another video about Finnish games that are more questionable. Anyway, let's start this list. Number 7, and this one you're probably gonna know. I'm pretty sure you're gonna know this, cause it's from Remedy, and it is Alan Wake. So, when we got this console generation kicked in gear, I got myself Xbox Series X too. I mean, I did buy PlayStation 5 too, but I did jump into Xbox on this generation also. I've never done that before. I had the original Xbox, but I bought that because I started collecting retro. But yeah, Xbox Series X, I was like, I'm gonna give this one a try, because they've been buying all the goddamn game developers out there, and so far they produced precisely kind of shit. And now the rumors are strong that they're gonna release their games on PlayStation and Nintendo consoles too, so I guess I bought myself €500 doorstopper. But before I totally abandoned that console, I did play through most of the exclusives Xbox had that I missed throughout these years, and one of them was Alan Wake. Finally got to play that through, and after I did, well, now it's on PlayStation 5 too, so... But I'm not disappointed at all. Alan Wake, everyone probably knows Alan Wake. He's a writer, kind of like Stephen King, except his stories kind of come alive. So, you know, it turns into this kind of horror action game where you're running around in this island where you went because you wanted to ride in peace, but turns out it's anything but peaceful. Because there are things around there running around, and they can be killed with light and bullets. You gotta have a flashlight, and you gotta have your gun. I don't have either here, so if they come here, I'm fucked, but I do have a lot of lighting. Usually they cut off the lights though, so... Anyway, you run around and try to find the pages of your book, cause they tell you how the story is going to advance. It's a neat idea, it feels like kind of Stephen King-ish style, and yeah, just really fantastic game. I love the character of Alan Wake. I think the voice actors did a great job in that. It's a third-person, you know, horror survival action game. I'd say it's kind of basic when it comes to overall mechanics, but it does have the flashlight thingy and also really good writing in the story. I always dug the story of that. Well, always since I played it through. Yeah, really love that game, but that's probably one of the most well-known game on this list too. I'm just gonna skip Alan Wake. I highly recommend it. I haven't played Alan Wake 2. There's been some controversy, and there's so much games coming out that I got no problem skipping few games that are riddled with controversy. I don't think that's riddled that much in controversy, but I don't want to go into those, you know, everyone decides what they want to play and what they don't want to play, and yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm probably gonna skip it, which sucks, because I really do like Remedy and their games overall, but you know, it's not like I'm gonna run out of games to buy, so I can afford being picky. Anyway, next game.
Through Timo's seat, up in the ass of Timo.
Number 6 on this list, and oh boy, this is fantastic. You have never heard of this, I think, unless you're Finnish, then you might have heard about this, but I don't think this one was even released outside of Finland. It's a multiplayer game, and you fly around in World War I planes, aeroplanes. Here's the kicker, it's side-scroller. It's got one long level, it's got multiple levels, but they're always kind of, like here's your screen, here's like part of the level, here's another part of the level, and here's the rest of the level. So when you fly here, you come from here. Get it? There's 4 countries, and they are Japan, UK, Germany and Finland. Everyone's got a base somewhere in the map, and you know, you got your little runway where you take off, and basically you try to bomb your friends' bases. That's about it. And you try to drop your friend. You got machine guns and you got bombs that you can drop. I don't believe you have anything else, if I remember correctly. Anyway, the planes do have differences. Like, I think Japan was the fastest plane, but it could carry like 2 bombs. And then there was British, which I think was the slowest, but they could carry like 5 bombs or something like that. And Germany and Finland were kind of in the middle. There are these AA guns and there are these machine gun nests that are constantly trying to fire you when you fly over the friend's base or enemy's base. They're all enemies, but you're playing with friends. I think there were single player missions too, where you had to bomb something, but those weren't fun. It was more multiplayer game. It was best when you had 3 friends and all 4 of you were playing, trying to destroy each other. And man, let me tell you, we used to play it on keyboard. 4 guys, some of them more obese than others. We were all 4 around this goddamn thing. Here was one person's keys, here was another person's keys, one was here, and I think one was here or something like that. Or maybe it was all 4, here, 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 and here. That was sweaty, it was hot. Those sessions when we played this, it was so fun, but man, it was tight. You know, the space was tight. Ooh, there's a lot of cat hair under here. Yeah, simple idea, but addicting as fuck. I tell you, it's one of the funnest games I've ever played with friends. I almost put this in my top party games list too, but yeah, Triplane Turmoil. I'm not actually sure, did I say the name? But yeah, game's called Triplane Turmoil. Love it. It's so goddamn good, so fun. Number 5 on this list, and this was expected because I am Finnish, and what do Finnish like? Well, ice hockey. There's actually no ice hockey games on this list, but the other thing that Finnish like, rally and formulas and, you know, all kinds of motorsport. Number 5 on this list is gonna be Flatout. The name's Flatout. I'm not saying it's gonna be Flatout something blah blah blah. It's Flatout, and that's probably one of the most Finnish driving games ever. I mean, you're in the middle of woods and you're driving around in these rusty old buckets and you're trying to win the race and also crash into your opponents. And when that game came out, the physics were amazing. I mean, there were like piles of tires and there were all kinds of fences around the woods and all kinds of extra shit. And when you ran into those, they'd react kind of like tires would react when you hit them. Maybe not 100% accurately, but really, I mean, when it comes to driving games, Finnish developers have always been number 1 in those when it comes to physics. Physics and wreck models. We were a really secluded northern country. What the hell do you think we do all day long? We're driving in woods and crashing into each other. Well, maybe not that much these days, because you got all kinds of fucking rules and regulations. Fucking government. In the end, governments, they ruin every goddamn country. But yeah, good old destruction derby style, driving around and just crashing into your opponents. And there was Flatout 2 also. I'm gonna put both of them on the same spot, because I don't really remember details what was different than in the other, because it's been so long since I played those. Fucking loved those. Then there's also Flatout 3 and I think 4 or something like that, but those were done by different guys and apparently they suck ass, so don't go for those. Go for the PlayStation 2 Flatout 1 and 2. Those were the peak when it comes to driving experience in Flatout series. Those are the ones you wanna get. But there was also one other aspect that, oh god damn it, I loved in these games. It's when you crash, your guy comes flying out the fucking window. Which, yeah, when you're racing, it could be annoying, you know, your guy's flying out there and blah blah blah. You know, nobody wants that to happen in the middle of race. But there were these extra activities like bowling and darts and all kinds of shit, where the idea was you drove your car and crashed and you were kind of trying to bowl the pins over with the driver. And also same thing with darts, you know, trying to hit the center with the driver. That was fucking fantastic. There was also like, I think there was high jump and there were a bunch of those. I don't remember which game had what events, but those were so much fun. I loved those. But yeah, Flatout. Destruction derby style driving. I've always been a huge fan of that type of driving. And man, those games, when they came out, they blew my mind. So detailed. Loved the physics. Finnish people, god damn it. Once they get sober, they make some great driving physics. Number 4 on this list, and I'm gonna eat my goddamn boxer shorts if you heard about this. Finnish not included. Fuck off. I mean, stay and watch this video to the end, but don't try to guess here. Fuck off. Number 4 is one of the best gladiator game ever made. Well, gladiator style game. And how fitting, it's number 4 on this list because it's called Areena 4, which means Arena 4. Now, I gotta be honest, I don't know if there's been Arena 1, 2 and 3, but I do know there's been Arena 5. Don't know what's up with that. I did try Arena 5, didn't like it as much as 4. So what is Arena 4? I'll tell you what Arena 4 is. It's a game where you hire gladiators, but here's the kicker. They're not just like regular gladiators. You're kind of hiring all kinds of mythical beings. You know, you got your minotaurs, you got hobbits, you got sorcerers and witches and whatever, all kinds of goddamn crazy stuff. I think there was Bear Man also, and not Man Bear Pig, but Bear Man. I think you had 4 or 5 divisions, and you start from the mud division, and you try to work your way in the highest division and win. Would be weird if the target was to lose, but then again, it's a Finnish game, and we do a lot of things drunk, so nothing's really out of the books. The game looks simple as fuck. I mean, it looks like shit. I bet when you're watching the video I'm having here, probably running right now, it looks like shit. Simplistic, really simplistic. You got your guys and you move them, you know, turn-based moving. You can use magic or you can attack, which attack means you gotta move your guy next to the opponent and then, you know, move into the space where the opponent is, then it kind of attacks. But it's not just that, you got a budget. So you know, you gotta pick your guys who you wanna buy. Also, you gotta take in consideration their age, because once they get old enough, they retire. And it fucking sucks when your killer minotaur that's squashed like hundreds of enemies has to retire in the end. That's always... breaks my heart. I always loved minotaurs. They were beasts. They were kind of like tanks. Also, I think bearmen were kind of like tanks too. There was some other race that was also kind of tankish. Then there's like dwarves, which are kind of in the middle ground, and then there are hobbits and I think fairies who die when they sneeze. So when you win, you can also buy better equipment for your gladiators. Certain gladiator, you don't get, you know, you can buy better sword for one or a better armor shield for one. It's kind of micromanaging your gladiator team. It's so goddamn good. There's also, there were these kind of, it's been a while since I last played it, so my memory is a bit hazy about it, but I think there were like, one of your gladiators might come and say to you that, you know, they're feeling great and ask for a raise and all that, or they're feeling like shit and ask for a raise, and a bit of mingling with the gladiators. It was really simplistic, but you know, I felt like it brought at least a little more depth to the game. It's just so fun. I played the shit out of that back in the days. It's actually not been, it's like 2 or 3 years when I last tried it, and it was fucking fun, but yeah, I didn't stick with that for too long. But it's one of those games, it's so easy, you know, it's so small, you just kind of start it and you can save and continue it whenever you want. So, you know, it's easy to pick up and play every now and then, you know, a couple of matches or maybe even a whole year, who knows? But it's just so much fun. I love that game. It looks like shit in modern day standards, but trust me, when you try it, and if you understand Finnish, which probably most of you don't, it's really addicting. I love it. I love it. Then we get to number 3 on this list, and that is a game I'm sure you haven't heard either. I believe this one was actually sold outside of Finland. Yeah, I still kind of doubt you heard about this. And it is one of the funnest driving games ever, with friends. Game called Slicks and Slide. What is Slicks and Slide? Is it gonna be another Destruction Derby style game like Finnish games usually are? No, not quite. It's top down and you have your track. It's the size of the screen, the track. And there's tons of tracks, and you can also, there was level editor, so you can build your own tracks too, which is, I fucking love that in older games. There were a lot of games where I used to waste like probably hundreds of hours just building tracks or levels in the old Finnish games. But Slicks and Slide, it's so goddamn great. You got different kind of cars. You can, there's like tractor and then there's formula and all that. And some of the cars they're way more faster, so they're kind of unfair against, like, you know, if you're driving a rally car against a shitty old tractor, rally car's gonna be way more faster. But then again, if you're driving around in tractor, there's also weapons, so when you're going slower, it's easier to aim. But there were like tons of weapons. You got your machine guns and missiles and mines, and I think there were like oil slicks too, and it's been a little while since I last played it, but man, I wasted probably, I don't know, 7th, 8th, 9th grade when I was supposed to study in school, probably playing this. So yeah, you drive around, you try to win, it's just so much fun. It's, again, I think 4 players was the max, because we were there, again, on the goddamn keyboard. Just 4 guys, others bigger than others, so it was really tight. It was just so goddamn great. It was so fun. Also the thing, because you see the whole track, you can kind of, you can be here driving straight, a friend might be driving down here. You can just kind of turn and take a shot from here to there, so you can, maybe someone's winning and you can totally fuck up their race by shooting them from the other side of the track. And it's one of those games that makes you want to punch your friends, but at its best, it's just so goddamn fun. So you'll take the punch and you'll laugh. But yeah, Slicks and Slide, it's just so much fun. Simple idea, but simple ideas are usually the most funnest, and they work. It's one of those games I wish they'd bring back. Maybe a bit of remastering or something like that. I mean, there are tons of games that are like that, but I feel like I've played quite a bit of top-down driving games where you can shoot others. No other has really captured the same kind of feel as Slicks and Slide. It's really unique. You have to kind of play it. Even though the mechanics and style has been copied dozens, if not hundreds of times in the last 30 years, it still remains its own experience.
We had some troubles with tires in the beginning of the race, but the team is working very fine and I'm drinking and fucking all the time.
Then we get to number 2 on this list, and you thought we were done with driving games? You fool! I don't know why I said that, but hey, it's Finnish games. Driving's gonna be heavily represented in this. But this one's gonna be the last driving game on this list. It's fantastic, and just heard, like month or 2 ago, somewhere around there, possibly 3 months ago, we're getting a sequel, which I can't wait. I can barely keep my pants on, if I had any. Just hope I don't jump. You'd see a little beige wiener doing. Anyway, dicks aside, number 2 on my list, you probably guessed it, Wreckfest. It is so goddamn good. You drive around in tracks, and it's also got those destruction derby style things where it's just a arena and you're trying to destroy all the opponents, and the driving's just so good. And the physics again, I don't know what it is. Finnish people, they make the best driving physics. Gran Turismo, Forza, they can suck dick when it comes to driving physics and, taking some hits and actually showing the results of those hits. You can't beat Finnish. I don't know what it is. But again, you're driving around in shitty rusty old buckets. You're trying to survive and beat them in a race or either crash into them when it's the destruction style derby ring. It's just mayhem. It's so goddamn fun. I love that game. And also, it's not one of those like modern driving games that, well, here you go, you beat this first race and you're gonna get a Ferrari and that's about it. Now you have one supercar and you got one lame car you started with. No, in that one, you had to work your ass off. You had to win races, you had to drive same races to get money, to buy better bumpers, better hoods, better tires, better goddamn exhaust pipes, and all kinds of better shit. And once you got your rust bucket maybe a little less rusty, you could start saving up for a new car, a new rust bucket. And then you could collect money to upgrade that with better parts. That's how you're supposed to make driving games. Not drive this race and you'll get a Ferrari, you'll get a Formula, you'll get a tank, you'll get a Hummer, you'll get, I don't know, Nissan? That's stupid. It always kills my enjoyment. 15 minutes of playing and you got all these cars. You got this kind of list of cars. Where's the fun in that? Why am I racing anymore? I got all these cars. I can sell them and live like kings for the rest of my life. What's the point? What's the point? Eat my dick, non-Finnish racing game developers. You can go suck it. You've taken the fun out of driving. Okay, I've raged about that same thing dozens of times probably on this channel, but I'm not gonna rage about it anymore. I like this method, where you have to actually be good and slowly grind your way to being better. Can't wait for Wreckfest 2. Also, if the developers are watching this, Collector's Edition. I mentioned this before in one other video also, but Collector's Edition. I don't care if you make Collector's Edition for everyone, just make one for me. I'll unbox it, I'll give it raving reviews, because you're gonna do the same thing you did with the first one, so it's gonna be perfect driving game. You're not gonna mess around with the formula too much. You're gonna keep it as tight and as good, and you're gonna make people drive to get parts. You're gonna get 10, and I'm gonna get Collector's Edition, and I'm gonna unbox it, and I'm gonna love you forever, and you're gonna be grateful for me forever, and we'll make Finnish game developing business boom. Okay, I don't have that many subscribers, but I bet I can get like at least 3 people buy it. I'm pretty sure. At least a couple of my close friends, because if they don't buy it, I'm just gonna do the most Finnish thing and get drunk and stab them. with an axe. Anyway, Wreckfest. Yeah, I'm just gonna move on.
Let's fuck!
Oh boy, we're down to number 1. What could it be? What could it be? I can just feel the excitement growing. Oh, it's erection. Number 1 on this list, and we're doing full circle, going back to where we started. Remedy. And oh boy, this is the franchise that launched them where they are now. They owe everything to these games. Their later games, they've been great, but well, they fucked up. They sold this franchise to Rockstar, and apparently they ain't putting out any more games, so thanks, assholes at Rockstar and at Remedy. And the game series is Max Payne. I gotta be honest, I was thinking Max Payne 1 and 2 between those, and hard to choose, both were fucking great, but I think I'd lean a bit more to Max Payne 1, just because of the funny face, Sami Järvi face. He's changed his name into Sam Lake because he's trying to pander to his English audience, which is embarrassing. Just be your drunk fucking Finnish self, okay? Sami Järvi, that actually sounds great, but Sam Lake, that sounds like some cheap character in a video game. What the hell were you thinking? Anyway, Max Payne, I still remember the first pictures in a gaming magazine when we saw those, and that weapon, that gun, that pistol, it was so detailed. You could see the serial numbers and all that from it, and it just blew my mind. I couldn't wait to play it myself, and once it came out, well, it didn't work on my PC, so I played it at a friend's place. Which kind of fucking sucked, because when you're playing at friend's place, there's all kinds of rules and regulations, and anyway, I got to play it at friend's place, and later on in life, I actually got the game for myself, and also Max Payne 2. And that game was genetically engineered to tickle all the right bones in my body. I mean, my uncivilized friends, they had no idea what we had in our hands. I mean, they were just like, oh, this is a fun little action game. Oh, this is nice. I like jumping around in slow motion and shooting. But they had not heard of our Lord and Savior, Mr. John Woo from Hong Kong, who made some of the best action movies in early 90s, late 80s. Revolutionized the whole genre. I was so ecstatic, and oh boy, once I first got my hand on keyboard, another hand on mouse, and I did my first slow-mo dive with dual-wielding pistols, I think I shot my hot semen all over my friend's monitor. The face in the first one. It's because was that Sam Lake's face? I think it was. The voice wasn't his, but face was, and it's always got this stupid grin. That's what you get when you change your name in the English version. You get stuck with a stupid grin. But yeah, it was just so great. Oh, just the gunplay, it worked fantastically in it. It was a third-person shooter. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but you went around and you were this gritty detective. It was gritty detective noir style in New York, really dark, and there were these nightmare scenes which I really liked also, and it was really tragic tale. Max's family got killed, and he was just miserable. Hooked on painkillers and all that, and so yeah, basically from that day on, he was just searching for the killers of his family, and it was so good. I really dug the story. But even though the story was great, it was the gunplay, the action. That was just, we never had anything like that before. It just, like I said, I was so huge John Woo fan. That was like 3 hot supermodels that took me, strapped me in my chair, poured liquor down my throat, and then did all kinds of sexual things to me. That's how I felt when I played Max Payne. It was just so awesome, and that's one of those games that actually got me kind of pissed at my friends at times, They weren't emptying their clips, because when you shoot your enemies, sometimes you get this slow motion cam where they show the guy dying. They stopped shooting. That's not very Hong Kong-like thing to do. Fuck your bullets. You're gonna use your bullets. That's how you play the game. Also, there was one friend who I heard played through the whole game and didn't use the slow motion because it was stupid. At that point, I wanted to grab my hockey stick and shove it up his ass and set it on fire. But I didn't play hockey, so I didn't have a hockey stick, and but he was smaller than me, so I could have done that. But yeah, that game, it was just perfection when it comes to third-person shooters when it came out. Yeah, it still is. I played it a few times after that, all the way through. I love it. It's always as fun as it was that first day. But obviously, I don't get mad if people play it wrong these days. But yeah, Max Payne, number 1. Love it. They're doing a remaster or remake. Like I said, I have a bit of a problem with Alan Wake 2, so we'll have to see. I could always go back and play the originals, because I still enjoy those so much. They're so goddamn great. Also, third one, Max Payne 3, that was also alright, you know. Rockstar did it by themselves, but it wasn't as good, but it was alright. Anyway, that was my top 7 list of Finnish games. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I ain't doing this again. At least this list, so yeah. You're stuck with this. But for now, fuck off and I'll fuck off, and we'll meet back here when I upload more crap. I was trying to come up with really Finnish way to stop this video, but I don't have legs or victims here, so I shouldn't joke about that. It's still kind of fresh. I think that happened like 10 years ago or something, maybe 15 years, I don't remember, but it's been a while. Terrible thing that happened. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna leave you with some Finnish curse words. Perkele! Saatana! Vittu! Jumalauta! Persereijät!